All right, you clicked on this video because you want to know how to price lawn care services. And you're here because you know that pricing your services incorrectly could cost you thousands of dollars, maybe tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the size of your business over the course of the year. It could even be what kills your lawn care business. So this is key to growing your lawn care business. This is key to growing your profits in your business. This video can absolutely make you over $100,000 this year, even with the season already started. So let's talk about the importance of your pricing strategy and how to know that you are profitable. So where we want to start is we want to talk about the big mistakes that people make in their pricing strategy. The first thing that people do is they just look at what other guys are charging. And the big problem here is you don't necessarily know what equipment they're using, how they're optimizing their crew. You may not even know how many guys they have on the crew. So when you're looking at what, a lot of guys will do this as like, oh, we're testing the market. We're seeing what, other people in the market are charging. But the problem is if you are providing a, push mode service, that's going to take longer. So because you don't know what equipment a competitor is using or what impact, even if you've seen their equipment, you don't know what impact it has on their efficiency. It is a really, really bad idea to just base your pricing on what everybody else is charging because you can't know all of the variables of their pricing. So the other thing that people do is that they just kind of ballpark it. And that can be a good way to get started. It is some of what I'm doing to bootstrap my lawn care startup that I'm doing in addition to the marketing agency here. But something that people will kind of do is they want to charge hourly. You might get kind of caught in the weed trying to do that. The price you present to the customer should not be an hourly rate. And the reason that is that you're going to make your business better as time goes on. You're going to make it more efficient. And if you're charging hourly to the customer, you are locking in your profits at the outset, right? If you're able to they're willing to pay you $50, $60, $70 to mow their lawn, and you're able to reduce the amount of time through training your crews better, through putting more work in, all the things that you're doing, you should not shrink how much the business gets paid because you're better at your job, right? That's incredibly frustrating to make less money to be better, right? So we don't want to end up in that situation. So never give the customer an hourly labor rate, but you need to know your hourly cost for your guys. So this is one of the things that is going to take you a little bit of work to do. You might reach out to John Pajak about this. He can really help you figure out your labor overhead. What I'm going to tell you is just work off of your hourly rate that you pay your guys, and then look at what you are paying out in their paycheck in company taxes. If you're running payroll through like Gusto or something, anything you're running payroll through is going to make it really easy for you to see your total all-in cost for that employee. Divide it by the number of hours that they worked, and that'll give you a rough idea of your labor overhead cost. So once we have that number, we know that's the sunk cost for the guys. When one guy is on a property for an hour, it costs us this much. So the big thing that we need to talk about here is it's not even really the hourly rate. We need to think about everything in terms of man hours. And so this is a formula that I learned a long time ago from Jonathan Potoshnik when I was working at Service Autopilot, working on the Lawn Care Millionaire channel. We put together a lot of resources around this because this blows a lot of guys' minds. You have to wrap your brain around something that's a little bit convoluted. So bear with me here. I might be able to pop some stuff up in editing that helps you understand this. But if we have 3 guys in a crew, right? That's pretty normal to have 3 guys in a crew. We got 3 guys on the truck. They pull up on the job, they clock into it, and they are there for 1 hour, right? I guess I'm doing it with my fingers. We're going finger math here. They're there for 1 hour in the real world, right? They're there from noon to 1 p.m. 1 real hour turns into, we multiply these numbers together. Hope everybody's okay. I don't know if you can hear the siren in the background. We had 3 guys on the job for 1 hour in the real world. We multiply that together. That is 3 man hours to do this job. Now, typically we're talking minute, right? If you're in, especially those little cookie cutter new construction neighborhoods, you're looking at, your 3-guy crew was there for 15 minutes, right? So we multiply that, it's 45 minutes total, 0.75 of an hour. So that is going to give you your man-hour rate on the property. Now you need to multiply that by your labor overhead cost. So that's going to give you your labor costs on the job, right? Now, what that does not include is if you're using electric mowers, your cost to charge the batteries. If you're using gas mowers, which you probably are, then it's not including your cost of gas. So now what you can do with electric, this might be a little more convoluted, but I would recommend tracking your kilowatt hours that are going into the chargers. So what you want to do is have your total number of man hours for the week, for the month, whatever is the easiest way for you to get that, and then have your gas receipts for that same time period and divide by the number of man hours. We're trying to get everything down to the same unit, same number of man hours. That'll give you an idea of how much you're spending on gas for every man hour that your guys are in the field. And depending on fuel mixes, all of that, try to incorporate all of those costs as best you can. Obviously, you're not a computer. You're not necessarily going to be able to come up with the exact penny that you're spending, but we want to get as many of these costs in there as possible so that we know what it costs us to go out and do this lawn. And so gas is the next thing I would focus on. You can divide your insurance payments by the number of clients to have and then divide by 4 will give you, a weekly cost on that, since we're trying to come up with a weekly cost to the customer. So if you are just starting out, you don't have necessarily all of these costs in place right away, but it's a good idea to build in a buffer so that you can have them later. So where you want to go from here is add those costs together to get your cost for a single man hour of labor. It's going to cost me this much. This is how much it costs in gas. This is how much it costs in insurance. This is how much it costs in labor. And then build your profit on the back of that, right? Add that appropriate percentage of profit that you want for your business. Remember that as things scale, you're going to have more overhead costs. Eventually, you're going to have somebody answering the phones. That money has to come from somewhere. You're going to have, maybe multiple people in the office, maybe a dispatcher. You're going to have more maintenance on your equipment. If you have more equipment, you're going to have more maintenance that needs to be done on that. So try to keep in mind that these costs are going to balloon over time. And what seems like a lot of money at the outset is you're going to find that it chips away at what you take home, because at the end of the day, what's left is what the owner gets. And so if you continue to have costs creep into the business, you're going to have that, your salary, your take home pay is going to get cut to pay for those expenses. So let's try to keep that in mind and build in some coverage there. But I would recommend going 30 or 40% over what those initial 3 costs are, so that you're building in a healthy percentage for you as the owner. And if you're working on the crew as a laborer, you need to be paying yourself the hourly rate for that labor. So don't kind of cheat yourself there. If you're getting enough money into the business to pay for labor, which you should be, then you need to be paying yourself. And what I would tell you as far as figuring out, this is more budgeting as you grow the business. I would really, really highly recommend that you read Mike Michalowicz's Profit First. I'll drop the book cover on there for you. But that'll help you figure out how to distribute the money in the business so that you allocate it effectively. And as you grow as a business owner, you might change some things, tweak some things from there, but start at that, figuring out those costs. That man hour thing is really, really key here. And if you can get this right, you will make more money this season. Finally, hey, if you need help finding customers for your lawn care business, if you are struggling to get leads to come in, please reach out to me. There is a link down below. You can schedule a 30-minute chat with me. We will talk about Lightspeed Plus. It is my program that gets you everything you need to digitally market your business, and some old school in-person, concrete, printed out, do it, marketing materials, a flyer, yard signs, whatever you need to get your business off the ground and to be a success. We do all of that. And you get my personal number. You can reach out to me at any time with questions you have about marketing. We've got a Discord community where you can talk to other lawn care business owners. I'm in there all the time. We do a weekly morning coffee meetup in the Discord chat. You don't have to come to Dallas. And that is all for $100 a month, gets you into that community. So if that's something that sounds like what you need to grow your business this summer, reach out down below. Hey, make sure you are subscribed. If I missed something in this pricing strategy, if I used a word wrong, whatever it is that I did that you want to correct or you want to add on to, do it down in the comments down below. I'd love to start a dialogue with you and maybe get you on a future episode of the podcast so we can figure it out together. All right. That is how to price lawn care services in the year 2024. I'm Cody Owen with Lightspeed Social Agency. I will see you next week.